Hello everyone and welcome to another high elo game of Age of Empires. Today the Gauls are getting restless as Villese, playing as the Franks in blue, prepares to take on Hera, playing as the Romans in red. Now while the players look for where to plop down their town centers because yep, it's that type of map, explore their immediate zebra-filled surroundings and try to get their bases set up as fast as possible, let's take a look at the Civ matchup we'll be watching today. Now, the Franks are the OG cavalry civilization harkening all the way back to Age of Kings. Their knights come with extra line of sight, their stables can be upgraded to work much faster, and all of their mounted units get extra HP starting in Feudal Age. To support their heavy cavalry on the field of battle against pesky, annoying things like halberdiers and maybe even camels, the Franks can turn to their unique unit, the Throwing Axemen. This is a ranged infantry unit very similar to the Malian Gebetto, whose range can actually be increased. Now, to help a player produce as many throwing axemen as possible, Frankish castles do come at a 25% discount, I believe costing 488 stone instead of the usual 650. Now, to help feed a big militaristic population, their foragers work faster and they get all of their mill upgrades for free. And by the way, it looks like it will be our Frank who gets his town center up first, but using 3 villagers to the 2 of Hera. And by the way, Hera already has a dock and a house up. Very strong start here for our red Roman. By the way, the Romans, as we've been seeing lately, are being put to the test. Not only are they having civil wars like we've seen yesterday or the day before, but every civilization under the sun is trying to test their mettle. We've got 42 battle-hardened civilizations, each interested in taking this newcomer down. But before we get into that, before we see whether the Franks can pull it off in this specific matchup, let's actually take a look at the Romans and see what the heck we're working with. They have got a few strong unit features that make them potentially very, very dangerous in the mid to later stages of the game. To start with, their infantry get double the blacksmith armor upgrades, which means a fully upgraded castle age infantry unit for the Romans comes with +4/+4 armor. They also have access to the Legionary, a tanky, well-armored, unique infantry unit that replaces their two-handed swordsmen and champions and comes with a decent attack bonus against other infantry units. And to make their infantry units even deadlier, they can turn to their unique unit. There's another unique unit, the Centurion, a heavy cavalry unit that increases the movement speed and attack speed of any militia line units within its radius. Now, to overwhelm their opponents on the field of battle, the Romans can actually upgrade their entire militia line units, their entire knight line units, and their centurion units to train 50% faster and come with a +5 charge attack. Now, to back up their army, as if that wasn't enough, they have access to what I think is possibly the most deadly scorpion in the game. Not only does this unit cost a lot less gold, but their minimum range is lowered from 2 to 1. They can be upgraded to fire faster, and they're the only scorpions in the game to benefit from ballistics, which means like a nice medieval radar system, they will track your units down and they will kill them. Now, to help a player get to the later stages of the game as fast as possible, Roman villagers gather resources and build and repair structures 5% faster than generic villagers, which we kind of saw in the beginning, right? I mean, Villese got his town center up pretty damn quickly, but not far behind was our Roman. And not only did he have a town center, but he had a dock and a house to boot. Villese just now, it looks like, getting his dock. So a few, I would say a few disadvantages here for our Frank, which is very unfortunate because this is a civilization a lot of people wanted. Let's not say wanted them nerfed, but wanted them maybe take a little baseball bat to the knee, don't kill them, but lame them a little bit. Nobody wanted to see them completely gone because it's such a fun civilization, but their win rate has been pretty high for pretty long. And so I believe the forager work rate was going to be reduced, but then for some reason, when the actual patch came out several days ago, that was nowhere to be found. So the Franks have been left alone. Now, why do I say that they are disadvantaged? Number one, because in a map like this where you have to build structures initially, your town center, for example, and a dock. And by the way, we'll get into the Roman naval features if we actually get to see a naval battle here. But their villagers build repair and gather resources 5% faster. All three of those things, maybe repairing less so, but building and gathering resources on this map, where you start with just 3 villagers, no scout, not even a town center, is a huge benefit. And the second thing, you guys see a single berry bush? I don't see a single berry bush here. So that Frankish bonus of foragers working 15% faster, which on Arabia gives them a nice little boost, a little Red Bull to their foragers, doesn't apply here. So, this is a lot of villagers working on a single goat, by the way. We'll see how the Franks fare. Never discount the Franks, but at the same time, the Romans, man, let's see how they do on this map. Not exactly Arabia. I think on Arabia, the Franks would have a bit more of an advantage against the Romans here, because again, of the forage bonus is just such a powerful feature in the early stages of the game. But especially if we see naval warfare. I mean, the Franks have 0 bonuses, features, etc. on water, whereas the Romans, even though it was changed recently, do have significant features that make their navy better than a generic navy, which is what the Franks have. But in any event, I was about to say neither here nor there, but right as I say that, our Roman hits feudal and pumps out a galley. I'm so glad to see this, because it gives us a chance to take a look. It should pop out with now +1/+1 armor. Let's see if it does. By the way, Hera reaching feudal off the back of 18 villagers to the 19 of his opponent. So take a look at this. Before they became, before they IPO'd and were added to ranked ladder, I think these units, the galley line units, came with a +1 attack, and then the war galley and galleons came with extra armor. Instead, now, once they've actually gone public, the extra attack has been destroyed. Or what do I want to say? Removed. Gone, destroyed, removed. I speak English, I promise. The extra +1 attack has been removed, and now it's no longer war galleys and galleons that only get the extra armor. It's actually just basic feudal age galleys. So take a look at that. It just makes them a little bit tankier. And oh man, we're actually seeing a fire ship being built here for our Frank. Okay, he must expect. He definitely hasn't scouted this far. Yeah, look at this. He has no clue where his opponent is. His opponent also has no clue where he is. And let's take a look at what kind of effect that has, by the way, because this is going to be very interesting on maps like this. The extra armor on the galley. So the fire ship attacks on a 1 and does 3 bonus damage to ships. So it attacks on a 1. Any other generic galley without the +1 armor, or sorry, what am I looking at here? Sorry, pierce attack. So I'm looking at the wrong armor here. So right now, well, I guess the pierce attack doesn't really matter at this stage. I was looking more at the melee, but the melee doesn't really apply. The pierce is still 6 for a generic galley. So it has no effect on ship to ship, it seems like, the extra +1/+1 armor. What it does have an effect on is any ranged unit that might want to attack this that has more than a 6 attack. By the way, it is our Frank who is busting in here in Feudal Age. Remember, their HP jumps up by 20%, which is why instead of 45, it is 54. And it looks like our villager manages to kill an intruder. So 2 fire ships should be able to shoo away these galleys. And man, has action exploded quickly on this map. Spearman here is going to be able to save the day, although not quick enough. That is very sour. Our Frank losing a scout and has to run away. Otherwise, the spearman will get him. So, okay, so I wanted to highlight the features of these galleys, but in this specific matchup, I guess the +1 armor doesn't really matter against the... oh, man. Against the fire galley. Sorry, maps like this are always super, let's put it like this, super fun to cast because there's just so much going on in the map, and there's so many of these herdables and huntables and resources all over the place that the map, take a look at it, it's just very, very hard sometimes to see exactly what's going on. These three goats keeping an eye on things, but not too sure that's the best unit to use to keep an eye on things. Villager will take some damage from this elephant. This is a long way to go. Where is she going, by the way? Straight to this town center, must be. And the fire ships are moving up, but look at this. 6 galleys are here to meet them. Galleys might want to disengage and use their range. They do outrun those ships. The galleys outrun the fire ships, meaning they don't really have to engage. Market being plopped down to protect against this latest incursion. Always love to see markets used in this way. They're so thick, but with a +1 attack, this archer can now reach this villager constructing the market. So right click, right click, right click might be the name of the game here for Hera. Although it decides, you know what, 441 HP is still better than this palisade of 250. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave it for now. Let's see what the players have seen of the map. And let's see actually where they started. Gold and wood here for Hera. Just wood. A little bit of gold off to the side. This map looks like the resources, the scarce resources are really scarce. A little bit of gold here, a little bit of gold. So there's plenty of gold. A lot of it in the neutral zone between the players. This archer continues to shell away at a house. These scouts continue to try to bust their way in, but they will. Oh, the villager sacrifices himself. No, never mind. I thought it was an act of valor. Instead, it is an act of cowardice. And he ultimately does die. Here we go. While these galleys are focusing on the archer, the fire ship is getting a good amount of damage done, but for some reason targeting the healthier, stronger galley. Okay, archer continuing to be annoying. This archer has to retreat. Army supply, a massive 8-4, and we are both heading up to Castle Age, although it is our Franks who are heading up first. So an interesting situation. Our Frank managed to get his town center up a lot earlier. Not a lot earlier than our Roman, but at the same time, our Roman had the dock in a house. Just goes to highlight how powerful even just 5% quicker anything works in this game. And we'll see just how much our Roman decides to abuse this position, although he will hit Castle Age much later than our Frank. A whole minute, in fact. And our Frank is starting to get melee upgrades. But at the same time, the fire galleys are still being produced. He is not relenting in his aggression. Nothing really here. Oh, no. 2 exposed fishing ships. Let's see if he sees them and what he does when he does see them. Because with that kind of line of sight, you know he's going to discover these guys. Oh, no. I could say 1 + 1 is 2 and be proven wrong when I'm casting. Literally the opposite of anything happens. He does discover them, but through no effort of his own. Archers are now here on the left side trying to bust through. Perfectly positioned, by the way, so that any villager that makes his way across this area to repair it gets immediately attacked and loses that fire galley as well. Kill count similar, 14-4. 4 villager kills for Villese because he is the one putting on the aggression. And here come the knights. But oh man, we've already got a castle up for Hera. And an extra town center to the back of his base. Villese stuck on the 1 town center. He's got 200 stone. Always a big question mark with the Franks. Will they just get a little bit more stone and then build a castle? Or will they go for another town center, maybe even 2? Although at the moment does not have the wood since he is busy building navy. Now the galleys catch another fire galley. Hera, just do quick. But, oh, what is that? You don't have to attack that house. The knights are in. Oh, I thought he walled this off. This looked like a wall off, but no, look, there looks like a bit of an alley between the houses. Centurions. Let's do this. Let's compare the stats here. Centurion base attack of a 13, knight base attack of a 10. Both have 2 base melee armor, both move at the same speed, and the knights have 20 less HP. So the Centurion, a much better unit here than the knight. Just in case, you know, you're ever at you're at school or you're at a work meeting and somebody says, hey, do you know Age of Empires? And you go, of course, it's my favorite game. You should check out Cast of Empires on YouTube. Great caster. And then your friend or your boss goes, what do you think of Centurions against Frankish knights? And you say, well, funny thing. Funny that you asked. Because recently, and then you can launch into a whole tirade about how the Centurion, a super cool looking unit, by the way. I love that horse armor. I love those cloaks flying in the wind. I love their horsehair crested helmets. But Hera has to run away, make sure that he doesn't get attacked here by these knights. They are on the prowl. I believe they do attack faster. That's the one thing. A 1.8. I think these guys are 2? 1.9. They do attack faster. And by the way, they now have the Franks, I would say, usually when you penetrate an enemy base. Let's wait until we see if there's a convert. Yes, there's a convert. We've got a Frankish Centurion and immediately runs away into the welcoming arms of the crossbow. Whenever you penetrate an opponent's base, always make sure you have an exit strategy. In this case, Villese not only has one exit strategy, but has a second one on the left side of the base. We'll take a look at a second, but for now, there is a big old battle happening here. 11 army supply to 9, although now it's 9. Now it's 8 to 9. The numbers change just as I finish and start these sentences. The knights are doing a pretty good job here with numerical superiority. Needs to take the high ground here. Does Villese? He does exactly that, and now he's luring them into the castle. Fire one of them. Oh, one of them dies, another one dies. And all of a sudden, what looked like a very good exchange for Villese here has turned into a disaster. Where's his Mangonel? Middle position, Mangonel, 2 monks, 2 knights. These galleys are now sieging up this dock. We've got dueling. Town centers, but why is Villese building it here? He's got gold to the back of his base. Why is he building so far out in the base? One second. Something smells off here. Let's take a look at his. He hasn't seen it. He hasn't seen the gold. That's literally in the back of his base. Would give him access to wood, goats, zebras, a relic, an elephant, more zebras, stone. He just hasn't seen it. Hera, of course, sees this town center. Does he see Hera's? No, he does not. Oh, man. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe this is just going to be, I shouldn't overreact. Knight, or rather light cav, snipes the monk. Has 7 HP left, and now our Roman monks are out on the field. This is an incredibly forward position. That's the last thing I'm going to say about this. I mean, could potentially help him out if he puts villagers in here. Could make this area a nice little staging area to attack into Hera's flank here on the left side. Especially since Hera's not really building up any defenses here. He's got his castle on the hill. On the, on one of the hills of Rome. Oh, no. Oh, my God. He pops out a third. Hera doesn't see it. He could have gotten the third one, too. Wow, Villese got lucky. They're losing only 2. Another dock for him. Because he's, looks like he's about to lose this one. Knights are chasing away these Centurions. Hera and Villese both have 6 villagers on stone. Would love to see a castle out of our Frank. Something positional. Oh, Mangonel, friendly fire. 1 kills 3 total units. Uh-oh, monks. Have to be careful. But here come the Centurions. What's their HP? Oh my goodness, what a horrible amount of HP here. But monks enough to shoot him away. Hera's monk does bite the dust. Okay, he's almost got enough castle. I was gonna say castle for stone, but that's not how this game works. Oh no, Hera, he's almost got enough stone for a castle. Does our Frank just a little bit more? I mean, he keeps running around the map with these knights, and they keep taking small amounts of damage. These units are weak. Oh, another monk is going to get sniped here. Loses his last mangonel. Now he's basically got a converted centurion. He's building 6 monks at a time. 10 knights, +1/+1 attack. But Hera's units, cavalry units that is, have +1/+2. Dock does fall. Houses are under siege, but Hera hasn't. Has he seen this dock here? No, he is not. So a good little sneaky area to put a dock up. And now we've got another battle here. Oh my god. Hera plopping down a castle at the worst possible place for Villese. Monk does die. Knights. Is he going to get a convert? He desperately needs a convert. He absolutely... Oh, we're never going to find out. I mean, he must have seen this castle. This is so sour. That is so sour for Villese. Such an aggressively placed town center. Now, I don't know if he resigned because of this town center. He still hasn't seen the gold here. A small... What is this? 3 tiles? No, 2 tiles. 2 tiles of scouting. Look at his scouting. It's so great. But there's all these little edges around the map. And on a map like this, where resources are few and far between and kind of scattered around, but I will say scattered, but somewhat clumped. Because on any screen where you see gold, you also see stone, right? Gold, stone. Gold, stone. Gold, stone, or whatever, vice versa. I'm clicking. But he just didn't see this. Did he? He must have seen the stone. Oh no, that is a very sour, what do I want to say? Lack of scouting. Whereas look at Hera on his side of the map. Basically perfect scouting. I could be a little better on the opponent's side of the map here. Big, large swaths of terra incognita, but doesn't really matter. Our Roman overwhelming with a stronger castle age heavy cavalry unit, and look at him, sword raised high, ready to attack this one monk who's also has his stick raised high. And my goodness, what a fun matchup, showing us a few cool Roman features. 16 centurions, 17 knights. I mean, we looked at the stats. The centurions beat the knights handily. Hera with his typical 200 to 300 APM, although just a little shy here at 196. And look at that, 2739, 2749 peak APM about 8 minutes ago for both players. Economy, identical. Relic count playing no role in it. A little bit more wood for our Frank, a little bit more food for our Romans. This is where that forager bonus could have come in handy earlier on. 1,700 more gold for our Frank, so he did a good job getting the gold. Unfortunately, where he got the gold might have been the issue. And then about 700 more stone. How many converts? Probably just a few. Yeah, 4 converts for our Frank, but also lost 2 units to the Romans. 64 kills to 29. So yeah, these units just had 14 kills on these 6 units is a fantastic number. Just 1 kill on these 3. I mean, the longevity of your units when they're so much tankier. I mean, 20 extra HP when you already attack 3 units higher than your opponent is pretty damn strong, especially since you have 4 melee armor and your opponent only has 3. And so what a fun matchup. We got to see that crazy fast construction of the Romans. I mean, 2 villagers on a town center, a dock and a house, basically built at the same amount of time as 3 villagers on the town center here. That was amazing. I love the Centurion. I absolutely love this unit. And I don't know, is this accurate? Somebody in the chat, oh my god, by the way, I should mention, live streams are back up. Not daily. Whenever the baby allows it, the live streams are back. But someone in the comments, let me know. Is it proper that it's going this way, side to side, the plumes, the horsehair, or should it be front to back? I thought commander units were front to back. Although Centurions might be a higher level of commander, so it's side to side. By the way, fun anecdote. Eventually, the Romans stopped doing this. in actual military battles are redundant, in actual battles, because their enemies started figuring out which units were the commanders and attacking the commanders based on their plumes, their horsehair that they had on top of their helmets. So that's why in the early any TV show you watch, if it's historically accurate, or any movie you watch, or if you read any actual books or any legitimate websites, of course not referring to Wikipedia, and you see depictions of early Roman armies, a lot of times you'll see the commanding units have these horsehair kind of I think it's called a plume. I don't know what the exact name is. I'm sure there's a Latin name for it. Whereas the later age Roman army, they do not. It's mostly ceremonial, because the second you put this helmet on, you are now a target for the Gauls, who mount their horses and try to kill you. But in any event, what a super fun matchup. I'm glad we got to see another random map. Roman took control of the water. It looked like this +1 Pierce armor addition is not really that relevant at this stage. At least it wasn't relevant in this matchup. I'll try to think of what matchups it possibly could be more relevant in. I can see the +1 melee armor being more relevant if they're kind of here on a sandbar and some Feudal Age unit comes and attacks it, or maybe an archer comes and attacks, an archer with more upgrades perhaps. But I'll think about whether or not this +1 armor for the galleys, as opposed to extra armor for the galleons, etc., is actually a good thing or a bad thing. But in any event, we got to see them on the water. We got to see them on the land. Hera takes the big W, but GG in a super fun matchup to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.